Hello there, welcome to Nerd.World. Today we're going to be going through something a little different. I'm going to be going through my homebrew, my Warhammer fan universe that I've been creating. Now this is still a work in progress, so there's still some refining to do. I keep adding more details, but I'm going to do a basic rundown explanation of the world that I've been creating. So, with that said, please like, share and subscribe if you like this. Comment down below if you have any pointers or anything I've got wrong in the lore, because I am relatively new to 40k. And let's begin. In the 41st millennium, there is a world called Mortilous. Mortilous is a world not unlike Earth. It's similar in size, although has more land than water, meaning much of the world is desert and open tundra and grassland. It's generally a cooler world and is orbited by 2 small moons. It's populated by approximately 9 billion people. The original settling of the world was unknown, but it certainly occurred sometime during the Dark Age of technology. The people of Mortilous live primarily in small townships numbering no more than a few thousand scattered all over the world, but there are several larger urban centres where more industrial and complex production takes place. Life on Mortilous is not easy. The world, in first glance, seems almost pleasant. It's dominated by open grasslands, seems to be teeming with life, but most of that life ain't friendly to humanity. It's trying to kill you. Even the grass upon which you walk is deadly. The grass being razor sharp like glass, and it will crush underneath your feet, cutting your feet right through your boots in some cases. Other strains are tipped with poisonous barbs, some which will just irritate and some that can cause paralysis or even death. As a result, no one on Mortilous goes for a pleasant walk through the fields. Life here is difficult, and although the planet is rich in natural resources, it is also rich in hostile and dangerous creatures. Primarily, a bull-like creature is used for most of the sustenance on the world. Its meat is very rich, full of protein, but the animal itself is also carnivorous. Somewhat akin to the size of an ancient aurochs from Earth, and similar in appearance, it has relatively thin fur covering most of its body, but a shaggy mane around its head. It has 4 horns and an armor-plated skull. It also has sabered teeth and is incredibly strong. Too ferocious and near impossible to domesticate, these things roam the world in millions-strong herds and are routinely hunted by the people of the planet. Their bone, which is as strong as metal and even can be smelted, is highly valuable, as is the armor-plated skull and horns. The meat is very rich. As a result, a culture of hunting these creatures has evolved on this world, where hunting them from hovering skiffs as hunting these things on the ground would likely result in you being the food for them instead. Traditionally hunted with spears and lances made of extremely hardened metal to penetrate this creature's thick hide and strong bones, it is considered a rite of passage to bring down one of these creatures for any young hunter on this world. Although most of the population don't live in cities on this world, there are several large-scale cities on this world which have large production, where much of the meat of these creatures is sold, as is the metal from their bones. Their bones, made of an organic alloy, are so strong that it has been used to create armor and weapons for centuries, possibly even millennia on this world. Even the local planetary defense force of this planet used the bone of this creature smelted into armor plate for their protection. It is even used in the production of some of the weapons. This world was originally colonized during the Dark Age of technology, and the ruins of the civilizations that lived here before them are all around them. But the ancient dark cities of humanity from the past are no longer lived in, but their skeletal remains still exist, surrounded by high walls and defenses. The main role of the local defense force on this world is not always protecting the world from the Xenos and the heretic coming from outside, but sometimes from whatever lies within these great cities. Ancient tradition holds that these cities must be guarded and never entered. Something is inside them. Behind the high walls, the guns do not face outwards, but inwards towards the city. And in some cases, geosynchronous orbiting satellites point weapons down at the surface, keeping an ever-watchful eye on these ancient cities of man. They have routinely been burned and scoured and bombed, but the structures are so indestructible, the foundations so strong, they've never been able to bring them down. Any force needed to destroy these cities would likely cause an extinction-level event on this world. Occasionally something is seen moving with the darkness. Its whispers heard only in the minds of psychers. As a result, psychers are often recruited into the military and placed to guard on these walls. Often going mad, heard screaming at nothing, saying that they're being watched, they can feel it, but they become so incognizant, so mad, that no one knows what it is that they are hearing, but there's something in the dark, something in the cities, something so terrifying, so horrifying, that it drives them insane. The people of this world, as a result, have a relatively high tolerance of psychers, but have no tolerance of the mutant, or of any abhuman species. Any child born with a mutation or deformity that is considered too far away from the perfection of humanity, from what is considered natural, is traditionally thrown from a cliff in order to end its suffering and prevent its poison from spreading amongst the pure humans of the world. Only psychers are tolerated, and even then only because they are useful in the defense of the world, and are found useful by the local Astartes regiment that protects this world. Mortilous was a lost planet to the Imperium for countless millennia. Likely a bureaucratic error, the world did remain loyal to the Imperium, but rarely gained any visitors from it, only the occasional trade ship or rogue trader turning up, and it seemingly somehow managing to stay off the records. Mortilous resides in a dead region of space where pretty much nothing else lives. Every system, every planet near to them is either uninhabitable or currently dead. A sector of dead worlds with nothing of interest or note to anyone, so no one really goes there. Only Mortilous, but it's so deep within it that it has been forgotten by the Imperium. But during the 39th millennium, was rediscovered by a rogue trader who finally put it in his records that he didn't know where this planet was, and he had no records of it ever appearing before. The Imperium detached personnel to investigate this world and found it still to be loyal to the Emperor, being brought into the Imperium during the Great Crusade, and has remained loyal ever since. An entirely lost division of the Astartes were also discovered in this system, known as the Peacekeepers. They were assigned to this world long ago under direct orders of the Inquisition, orders that have long been lost. And Inquisitors know no reason why this Astartes group was assigned here by them personally, given this world as their planet to recruit their aspirants from. Their instructions were to guard this world and this sector, and to keep it for mankind. All the other dead worlds in this sector are Xenos, and no one knows why they went extinct. But the Astartes were given orders to routinely bomb these worlds. As a result, they often leave the system on sorties to these planets, where they routinely bomb them with gas and acidic weapons, but never with traditional weapons, as are their orders. The ancient Xenos cities of these dead worlds seem to have the same dark presence found on Mortilous. As a result, in orbit of some of these worlds, small watchtowers have been placed, crewed by human soldiers, assisted by psychers routinely assigned to them. But the life expectancy of the psychers on these outposts is often quite short, as, over time, strapped into the machines monitoring these worlds designed to enhance their psychic powers to see what's going on in the world more effectively. Occasionally they go mad, driven insane, screaming once again, screaming into the dark that something is there, that it must be purged, that it is coming. When this happens, the Astartes will return and bomb the world more. If the psyker is deemed irreversibly contaminated, if he or she is decided that they are too mad, but not so mad they should just be thrown out of an airlock. They will be placed in a small pod and fired at the planet's surface, given a weapon and a small number of rations. There is no intention for these people to return, but it is figured they might as well as make some use of themselves in their last moments of life. They go down to the world to purge it of whatever darkness is there, but none of these psychers are ever seen or heard from again, except for their psychic screams picked up by their compatriots still on the watchtower in orbit, as they hear them die, killed by whatever darkness is on this world, this unseen force that wiped out whatever Xenos civilization previously lived there. With Mortilus's official rediscovery in the 39th millennium, the Imperium took stock of the world's extensive resources and the resources of the system, as well as the rediscovery of an entire Astartes chapter that was hitherto forgotten and, according to Imperial records, had long been lost. The chapter's exact founding was unknown and wasn't even seemingly recorded within its own archives. Their primogenitor Primarch is unknown, or at least has been lost to time. If the chapter itself knows, they keep it a closely guarded secret. The Peacekeepers traditionally keep one entire division to protect the homeworld of Mortilus, an oath that they swore millennia ago when ordered to take possession of the world and protect it from all enemies of the Imperium. As a result, when ordered to reinforce divisions farther away from home, they will often disobey orders to deploy their entire company, always leaving a single detachment behind to protect the world, and continue their mission of watching over the dead cities and dead worlds in the neighbouring systems, as this was an order given to them when they were originally chosen to take possession of the world of Mortilus as their own. This is sometimes seen as heretical by certain people within the Inquisition, but as it is known that the Inquisition itself gave the order for this to be done, there is little, at least currently, the Inquisition is willing to do on this subject without more information. The Peacekeepers chapter is also unusually small, with a peculiarly high failure rate amongst aspirants for gene seed implantation, with approximately 70% failure rate, which is a disproportionately high number. They also have an unusually high number of psychers within their ranks, a strange mutation that seems to occur in amongst 90% of all Astartes in the chapter. Officially, they all swear an oath that none of them, as ordered by the Emperor, would ever use their psychic abilities. And this again is seen as somewhat almost heretical by the Inquisition, as to why exactly this chapter has such an unusually high number of psychers. In fact, the world of Mortilus in general does seem to produce a large number of psychers, and although mutants are routinely sterilized or killed, the Astartes are allowed to go on with their psychic abilities. Unbeknownst to the Inquisition, they have been known to occasionally use them to probe the minds of damaged psychers, and even try to scan the dark cities of the surface to try and learn for themselves what is going on down in the world below them. Under the current chapter master of the Peacekeepers, the chapter sticks close to the Codex Astartes as much as it can do. The chapter has earned itself an honourable reputation for being very pro-human and often working very well with planetary defence forces as well as with the Imperial Guard, generally speaking. They are also known for being very pro-civilian life and will often set aside potential victory or defeating the enemy at a particular battle if it means saving human lives, particularly civilian lives. Prior to the return of the Imperium 1,000 years ago, the world had had a violent and turbulent past involving violent Xenos invasions from races such as the Dark Eldar, as well as internal strife from Chaos cultists reaching the highest echelons of Mortilus society, including right the way up to the planetary governor, going as far as to betray their own people to the worship of Chaos and to invite demons into the world. But that's a story for the next part. If you got to the end of this video, thank you for watching. Please tell me what you think of the world of Mortilous. And join me again in part 2, where we'll explore what happened to Mortilous, the invasions, the rebellions, and how the former planetary governor Cartamandua fell to chaos, corruption, and the worship of chaos gods. And other than that, please like, share, and subscribe, and check out my other channel, Nerd.World Films, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.